Just over 48 hours since the final whistle went at Wembley, and Notts' dreams of getting into League Two, back into Football League, were crushed. It still hurts, but you've got to look on the positives. The club is in a fantastic position with fantastic owners and with a full pre-season, albeit a strange one, a full pre-season going into next year. You've got to be positive as a Notts fan.
Yeah, absolutely. You look across the squad, every player we have, they're a winner. You've got the older players like Michael Doyle, and then you've got the players like Carl Roberts, the younger players. We've got such a good base to build on. We were gutted, absolutely gutted after the game on Sunday. You could see it.
Could tell, yeah.
You could see it. I mean, maybe not so much in the fan chats when we're asking the questions, but for me in the player ratings, I was just so deflated. I couldn't believe what had happened. But when you you just sit back, take time, you sort of realise what you've got. And when you look in front of you now, the team, the club, everything, it's just pulling in the same direction. So I think, we can't let it get to us too much, because I do think we are going in the right direction.
Yeah, I think you can look at the social media, so Twitter, a lot of the comments on YouTube, Instagram. The fans, and they're very positive, and the majority of fans. And it fills me with hope that next season, should we be allowed back in Meadow Lane as well, you've got to think it's going to be a positive season. But just before filming this, the player retained and release list has come out. A few surprises in there.
Yeah, a couple, wasn't there? One I'd like to mention before is Rose. I think, as much as that is a little bit of a shock that might be for some fans, he was linked to St Mirren, wasn't he, before the playoff final. I don't think he wanted to leave, because I feel like he'd have had unfinished business with Notts. But because we didn't get the promotion, I think obviously if they're still interested in him, I'm sure he'll go up there. It's probably a jump up for him, and he's probably on good money at Notts.
Yeah, we give him a lot of stick on this channel, especially some performances on the player ratings gave him a 4 or 5 out of 10. I still think those were justified. For me, he was one of the better players on the day at Wembley. I'm one of the better players in the semi-final against Barnet. But for a player of his calibre, he never really got his full potential. And I feel like on the occasion where another man we're just about to talk about, for example, Tom Crawford came in the midfield, completely outshone Rose. So sad to see him go. He will play better than he has played at Notts in the future. But Crawford,
yeah, really good to see him go. Out of the three that we're going to mention, this is for me is the one that I'm really gutted for, because I don't feel like he was given a real run. I think he personally will be absolutely gutted. I know I am as a fan. The game at Barrow springs to mind. What a performance that was.
Yeah.
Great player, and I hope he goes on to do well.
I think he'll be another Curtis Thompson.
Yeah.
And obviously that's horrible for us, but we want it to happen for him because he's a great player. But to see that as Notts fans, I feel like we may have missed out on something there. We may not know what's gone off behind the scenes in terms of what his contract was or what the future holds for him. Maybe another team's come in. But yeah, fantastic player. And that leads us on to the final player we're going to mention, Regan Booty.
The only thing I'll say about this one, very, very talented player. That free kick he scored, I do think he made the difference when he was starting and being subbed on. Great player. If it wasn't for his long-term injuries, he wouldn't be on the release list.
No, fantastic player, hasn't he? Got the ability.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just hope for his sake, almost like Crawford, that can pull through his injuries and string a season together at a club and go on to do well.
Definitely. It's been a really long season for the team and the fans. We want to wrap this season up with this video and say a massive, massive thank you to everybody. Our fan base has grown probably 4 or 5 times as big as it was at the end of last season. The interactions, the views, the likes, the comments, fantastic. We love making the content. We love making it for you. We're going to take a couple of weeks off because the last 2 weeks, especially making the match preview, was very busy, wasn't it? We're going to take a few weeks off. We've got so many ideas for next season. Obviously, if there is a big moment like a signing or something else happens, a player goes, we'll make videos.
Yeah.
But other than that, just have a really good summer, and we'll be back bigger and better next season.